Hello, my lovely friends. It is Tuesday once again here with my empty box series. And this is kind of a funny picture. My friends from Vegas, one of my bestie girlfriends from there, she came into town with her boyfriend at the time, and they were here for a golf tournament that was local and stayed over a couple of days so that we could visit. And I took them to my favorite cheat place. Whenever I cheat, I like to go to a place called Mena's, which is Mexican food, and I am traditional Texan, so Mexican food for cheat day is amazing. And this is a picture that my favorite bartender of all time, his name is Hugo, and sometimes, like, if you're on my personal Facebook, you'll see me talk about Hugo on occasion because I usually see him once a week, or every once in a while I skip, but I try to have my weekend date with Hugo, so to speak. So it's the one day I allow myself whatever I want to eat, which is a real treat. But I asked him to take a picture of us, and he said, okay. And he turned his back to me and did a selfie. And that's kind of his personality. So, he's fun, and he always takes really good care of us. He's the part-time manager too. One thing I like about this restaurant is they train everybody for everything. So you don't ask, one person about, mixing drinks, and you don't ask one person to go get you this, or, they all work together. It's like they're not family, but the restaurant acts like they're all a team. They're all in it together. So, and they have fun, like, little contests at Halloween, and they treat their regulars so spectacular. I just can't even begin to tell you the customer service there. It's fantastic. But anyway, this is not a video to promote eating at Mena's. This is not a paid sponsorship. Anyway, I'm playing, but okay, so you probably want to know what I'm doing with this layout. It is a light pink cardstock that I had cut something else out of, just a border. And so I had this white background and this pink scrap, and I basically did kind of a, I don't know, like a traditional foundation, but then I added all these elements around it that were in my empty box. Now, if this is your first time watching my channel, the empty box is something I started in September of last year, where I took a bunch. Ooh, sorry, that would be my bab. I took a bunch of products that were in old kits and a couple of, like, little small hauls in between there, and I just put them all into one giant box. And my goal was to give me 6 months to empty the box. And so I created the empty box series, and it's going super, super well. Now, I do feel a bit of a crunch here towards the final 3-month stretch, but I think I'm gonna get pretty darn close. But there's just a menagerie. This is a great way to use up your stash. It has, a little bit of everything in it. I used to subscribe to Citrus Twist, so it has some Citrus Twist kits. It has some Maggie Holmes. It has a lot of Paige Evans and some Cocoa Vanilla. And then there was a couple of really old products, like this Fancy Pants Trendsetter border stickers that I threw in there. And so it is a mix and match for sure. And some of this product is 10 or 15 years old, and some of it is less than a year old. So, well, probably a year old. Yeah. So, because it's been a while since I got those kits, and it's been a little over 3 months since I put together the empty box. And I've had several people make comments about the Empty Box series and how much they enjoy it. So thank you so much for your comments. They mean so much to me. I get up every day, and when I go to my computer and start working, one of the very first things I do in the morning is check my YouTube for comments. I reply to every single comment. I really enjoy interacting with my subscribers and, you know, with Cheeky Studios Facebook group, and with that company, it's even grown larger of a community. And I know that some of my personal shares are different than my Cheeky Studio shares, and I've always been kind of a diverse person when it comes to doing a little bit of everything. So for those of you that stick with me through all of those different aspects of my life, I just want to say thank you very, very much. I feel very honored to get to know you and get to share, you know, things about my creativity and my life on a regular basis. So thank you. I am basically right here. I know you're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? I had not glued everything down, and I wanted to go through a trial and error because I really didn't know what I was going to do for this layout initially. So I just kind of went crazy and said, I want to use up as much product as I can from my empty box, and I am going to figure out a way to you know, make this work and make the photo, even though I'm using a lot of accessory product, I want the photo to stand out. And I think I accomplished that. And so I was just kind of playing around with placement, and then I swiped it clean. And one thing you can do is take a picture before you swipe it clean, because, you know, you don't want to completely start over. You've got the idea now of what you want to do, and it's just a matter of adding or subtracting from those elements and going with that design. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. So the chipboard from Maggie Holmes is not from the empty box. I did grab that separately, and I was trying to back this frame with one of the pieces of paper. I originally thought I would use this Cheeky Studio paper, but I didn't end up using it. I think it was just too, it was a brighter yellow. Some of the other colors that I used on this layout were more of a, I don't know, more of a neon, and not, it had almost a green undertone to it instead of just that bright, clean yellow that was in the Cheeky Studio scrap. So I ended up taking that off. I did grab this Die Cuts with the View watercolor paper pad because I wanted to add just a hint of color down at the bottom, because I felt like it was just too, the entire project was just too centered, and or design, I guess, was too centered. So I wanted just a little bit at the bottom. And so that paper stack was kind of, well, it was watercolory, if that's a word, watercolory. So it does have a blend of a tiny bit of green to yellow to orange, and I think it ties in all of the colors from the ephemera and stickers and chipboard and the photo. So here I'm just kind of recreating the design. I switched out that paper for just a plain white paper because there was enough going on in that chipboard piece for me not to need to add any other color. And this salt water taffy color from Lindsay Stamp Gang is something that's just been on my desk. And if you've, you know, if you're familiar with my style, once I have something on my desk, I just kind of use it over and over until I decide. Usually I use it a long time, and then I'm like, time to switch out a few things on my desk. But that's also a good way to use up some of your stash. I've had my Lindsay Stamp Gang for many years, and at the time I was basically collecting them and was spending way too much money collecting them. And I probably have every color they ever made up until a certain year, and now I'm over it. So I do like Shimmers products, and I do have some of those, but I have not gone crazy. I just have maybe a dozen colors that I do use on a regular basis, and I try not to just go nuts on one particular collection, and I've gotten very, very good about that. So, one of the reasons why I quit doing kits was because, one, I wasn't using all the product. Two, I didn't particularly like every single aspect of what was in the kit. So what somebody else was picking for me was not necessarily working. But what I loved was that there was new product that was recently released that everybody would want and I wanted, and I would get some of that, and that was kind of what really appealed to me. But I've just gotten so particular since doing my own design work and creating Cheeky Studio that I just want what I really, really love and what I really, really want. And so I'm pretty particular at this point, but I do have, with that being said, I have a ton of stash. And what I'm going to do is, after this empty box series, I'm seriously considering doing another one because it has made me either purge what I'm not going to use out of those kits or use. And I have found that I'm being much more thoughtful in my process of what I'm going to use and how I want my layouts to turn out, and yet I'm getting to use a ton of my stash and weed through what it is I truly love. So here, I guess, let's see, what have I done? I've got this tag. I've added some twines to my tags, and I believe the tag on the top is from Paige Evans. And then the chipboard I said was from Maggie Holmes. I don't remember. I think that is the Bloom collection, but don't quote me on that one. And that's what these chipboard arrows are. I did have some Pink Fresh Studio ephemera that went with this. Now, some of their products that are more geometric are not really my style, but some of their florals, of course, because I love florals, do work for me. But this particular set of ephemera, which was Live More, had some of those same colors and some of the same colors that were in the other elements, and I like how it tied it all together. And that's where some more of those arrows came in. That's where the label Love came in, and the label right beneath Hugo that says This Is Magic, and the one to the left of it on top of the chipboard that says Be Original, and the tag to the right that is on top of the chipboard frame. That is also from that Live More collection, and then so is Snapshot Details Everyday Memories. That label is from there, and also the one I'm going to put right above it that says Can't Get Enough. Now, the word everyday is from Paige Evans, and I believe it is Turn the Page ephemera, and of course I love everything Paige Evans, so I have used quite a bit of that through this series. I believe the label I just put on there that says This Matters is from the Pink Fresh Studio as well. And I'm going to finish up here with a little bit more of this Lindsay Stamp Gang and some of the shimmers in, I want to say that's Mango Tango. Yeah, Mango Tango. I actually wrote it down. Are you proud of me? I can't believe I wrote it down. But yeah, I think that pretty much finishes it up. I used a ton of my empty box stash. I mean, I'm super proud of being able to use so much product, and I just love the way this turned out. Oh, that cell phone there that says That Smile is Paige Evans as well from a different collection. But that's it. I really appreciate you watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and click that bell, and I will talk to you later. Ta-ta for now. Bye.